Have you guys ever noticed that in superhero films, almost immediately after the superhero gains their powers, the universe just hands them scenarios to be heroic? It happens a lot in Shazam. He doesn't go looking for crime, it just gravitates towards him. Muggings, check. Convenience store robberies, check. And saving little kids from getting hit in the street by trucks, check. I'm just saying, only in superhero movies does this much crime just spontaneously occur around the protagonist. Hey up guys, so today's film that I'm reviewing is the latest in the DCEU, Shazam, which is directed by David F. Sandberg, who recently gave us horror hits like Lights Out and Annabelle Creations. This film is about a kid called Billy Batson, who's 14 years old, he's from Philadelphia, and he's been bouncing around different foster homes all his life ever since he lost his mother from a young age. And when I say lost, she didn't die, he just lost her, like literally. Billy has an encounter with a dying wizard who imbues Billy with all of his powers just by saying his name, Shazam. He doesn't do a tongue pop, but I just added that. When Billy says the name Shazam, it transports him into the body of Zachary Levi, which is just an older, ridiculously buff, superpowered version of Billy, and along with the help of his superhero enthusiast foster family brother Freddy, who's played by Jack Dylan Grazer, they learn what Billy's new powers are, and he uses them like any teenager would. Selfishly and irresponsibly. Mark Strong, as you would expect, plays the villain of this film, Dr. Thaddeus Sivana, who has a grudge against the wizard that gave Billy his powers, and he wants to take them for himself, and herein lies the conflict which Billy must vanquish. I was very excited for this film, guys. Just from the trailers alone, this looked like a very light-hearted, fun DC film. The best way to describe this film, I would say, is to think of it as a mashup of Tom Hanks's Big and Christopher Reeve's Superman. It's not as gritty as previous DC films, which I think is a welcome change of pace. There's a youthful, carefree energy throughout this film. It's not afraid to be silly either. I love that this film had an immature spirit. Sandberg's flair for horror does seep in occasionally, but for the most, it's a very bouncy, breezy film with a good amount of laughs. First thing to praise about this film is the performances. Zachary Levi as Shazam is fantastic. By far the best thing about this film. He completely captures the freewheeling spirit of a teenager, and it's just joyful to watch this grown man act like a teenager who has way too much power. There is not a single scene in this film where Levi's presence doesn't make it better. Jack Dylan Grazer is, in my opinion, the MVP of this film. He provides the comic relief, but he also has a few touching moments where you feel very sympathetic towards him. And the rest of the foster family, both the parents and all the remaining kids, are all great. There's a real warmth and sense of love in this house where they all live, and it gives the film its emotional core, which most superhero films lack. The idea of love, home, family, friendship, and wish fulfillment are all the central themes of this film, and it's this collective bunch of characters within this foster family that give this film its heart. Mark Strong is doing his usual bad guy shtick. It seems only Mark Strong or Ben Mendelsohn get cast in these go-to bad guy roles nowadays, but he is menacing enough, and he does have his moments where he's funny. The special effects are good enough, I'd say. There's a lot of these CGI creatures in this which represent the 7 deadly sins, and I'd say they're okay, nothing amazing, but yeah, I feel like the CGI was pretty good in this. I will say this film did feel like it took a bit of time to find its groove. It's not until Zachary Levi shows up as the Shazam version of Billy where it finds its stride. This is a comedic superhero film, but there are moments where it does want to be taken seriously. Like the subplot about Billy trying to find his mother is very much the emotional anchor of this film. And there's a few scene-to-scene transitions where it kind of shifts from silly to serious, and sometimes the transition wasn't very smooth. It just felt a little bit awkward in a few spots. And one thing that I'm a little concerned of is how this film will age, just because of certain choices that Sandberg has gone for, like the soundtrack. Like during the scenes in the foster family household, there's a lot of modern pop songs playing, like Bruno Mars, Calvin Harris, and Niall Horan. And they're very much songs of this time. And in 10 years' time, when music has evolved into what the next phase of pop music will be, it's just gonna make this film feel very dated and stuck in this period in time, which might be what Sandberg has gone for, but I do worry that this film is going to be a product of its time and not something that's timeless. Zachary Levi even does that floss dance thing, and it's one of those pop culture fads which is just going to get old really fast. But in the end, guys, I still had a pretty good time watching Shazam. It's nice to watch a superhero movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, but it does have its moments where there's an emotional resonance. It does ask an interesting question: are humans truly pure of heart to be superheroes? Most people don't feel like superheroes deep down, and I liked how this film explored that with Billy using his powers for selfish reasons rather than noble ones. There's surprisingly more depth to this film than you might anticipate. So let's ask those 3 questions. Would I watch this again? Yeah, it's such an easy viewing, rainy day type film. I'd watch it again, sure. Secondly, do I recommend it for you guys? It's gonna be another yes from me. I'd say it's definitely worth watching on a big screen, and it's just a nice, fun, Saturday afternoon film. I'd say go give it a watch, guys. And what score am I gonna give it out of 10? I'm gonna give Shazam a score of 7.5 out of 10. There we go, guys. That is my review for Shazam. But remember, this is just one bloke's opinion. I would love to hear from you guys. What did you think of Shazam? Did you love it? Did you think it was the best DC film? Was it not what you expected? Whatever you think, sure, let me know in that comment section below. And remember, guys, if you like my content and you want to help me out, please give it a little thumbs up, or you can hit subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you can find all that information in that description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Hayfield, and I'll see you next time.